Hello, my name is Neville Teller and I write regularly for the Eurasia Review about the Middle East. Every week I choose a subject that catches my attention and try to interest readers in how I see things. I've been writing for the Review now for well over 10 years. Reading, especially reading messages longer than a few paragraphs, seems to be falling out of favour these days. So we thought that some people might prefer to see me giving my commentary on current Middle Eastern affairs in person. And this is my opening shot. Do please write to the editor and let him know what you think. This week I concentrate on President Trump's announcement regarding Jerusalem, namely that the United States now formally recognizes that Jerusalem is Israel's capital and that in due course America will move its embassy there from Tel Aviv. Amid all the furore that burst forth after his announcement, one or two relevant facts seem somehow to have got buried. Among them is the little-known fact that Russia has already stated officially that it regards West Jerusalem as Israel's capital, which leads me to wonder whether Putin might not be contemplating pulling a fast one on Trump and moving the Russian embassy to Jerusalem first, pipping him to the post, as it were. It would be a major diplomatic coup, akin to Russia beating America both with the first spacecraft, the Sputnik, and with the first human being in space, that was Yuri Gagarin. So I ask, which embassy will be first in Jerusalem, the American or the Russian? And this is what I wrote. It was way back in 1995 that Congress passed legislation requiring the United States Embassy in Israel to be relocated to Jerusalem no later than the 31st of May 1999. Although adopted by the House of Representatives and the Senate by overwhelming majorities, in fact, the Jerusalem Embassy Act, as it's known, was never implemented. For 22 years, every president since then, the older Bush, Clinton, Bush the younger, Obama, even Trump, used the powers contained in Section 7 of the Act to sign a 6-month waiver, quote, to protect the national security interests of the United States, unquote. During his presidential campaign, Donald Trump stated unequivocally that he would move the US Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He was equally keen, though, to broker a peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians, and he's been pursuing that possibility with determination. To avoid compromising the delicate negotiations then in progress, which are led by his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, Trump delayed acting on the embassy issue in June 2017, which was his first opportunity to desist from signing that waiver. Now, at present, not a single foreign embassy is located in Jerusalem. This is because, in international eyes, the exact status of Jerusalem remains undetermined. Back in 1947, before the State of Israel was declared, the original two-state United Nations plan envisaged Jerusalem as, quote, a corpus separatum, that's a separate body, under a special international regime to be administered by the United Nations. Now, the UN as a whole, like the European Union, still clings to this concept. But incongruously, both the UN and the EU also assert their support, and this phrase appears in official documents quite a lot, for the objective of, quote, a viable state of Palestine in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. Now, either the city of Jerusalem is an international entity, or part of it is Palestinian. Both can't really be the case simultaneously, not logically. Now, the United Nations Security Council, in its latest pronouncement on the subject, at least appears consistent, unlike its parent body, the UN as a whole, urging countries and organizations to distinguish between, quote, between the territory of the State of Israel and the territories occupied since 1967, that's the end of the Six-Day War. The Resolution 2334 of the UN Security Council makes no mention of an internationalized Jerusalem, but refers no less than 3 times to, quote, Palestinian territory occupied since 1967, including East Jerusalem. Now, Resolution 2334 was passed by 14 of the 15 members of the Security Council, with only the United States abstaining. Until Trump made his groundbreaking announcement on the 6th of December this year, recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital and undertaking to move the United States Embassy there, of the 15 Security Council members, only one has recognized the logical implications of what they had voted for, namely, that if East Jerusalem is Palestinian territory, then West Jerusalem must be an integral part of sovereign Israel. And on the 6th of April 2017, Russia issued an unequivocal statement. While confirming its support for the two-state solution and for East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state, Moscow declared, quote, at the same time, we must state that in this context we view West Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Since Trump's announcement, the Czech Republic has followed Russia's lead on this. Now, this declaration carries a corollary. Countries normally cite their embassies in the capital city of the country with which they have diplomatic relations. Is Putin politically in a position to take the statement to its logical conclusion? Well, Russia's been fighting shoulder to shoulder with Iran in Syria, supporting President Bashar al-Assad in his battle to retain power. Iran, its satrap Hezbollah, and Assad's Syria are all ferocious enemies of Israel and would certainly be opposed to any move that enhanced Israel's status. But on the other hand, their battlefield collaboration didn't inhibit Moscow's recognition of West Jerusalem as Israel's capital. As regards the Palestinians, Putin has fostered good relations with President Mahmoud Abbas, the Palestinian Authority president, but they are as nothing compared with Russo-Israeli relations, which are flourishing. There is Russia's Gazprom's multi-million-dollar 20-year contract, signed only last year in 2016, to market Israeli liquefied natural gas from the vast Tamar field, which lies just off Israel's coast. Collaboration between Israel and Russia is also being developed in a whole variety of other areas, including free trade, nuclear and other high technology, space cooperation, and agriculture, to name just a few. Moving the Russian embassy to West Jerusalem could do nothing but enhance this burgeoning relationship. Were Putin to make this move in the US-Russian chess game being played for influence in the Middle East, there's no question of a checkmate, but he could certainly call check. It would prove Russia's consistency on Jerusalem, provide Russia with a notable advantage, and extend Russia's growing footprint in the Middle East. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join me again next week. Goodbye.